Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Eric Shiraev. Thank you, TutorDudes, for helping with this video. We will continue studying international relations, and those of you who follow the entire course, we talked about first introductory ideas related to international relations and national policy. Today, we'll discuss careers. In fact, what one can do with the knowledge and degrees received in the field of international relations. You know what? I hear a lot from some of my students, every year I hear from some of my students, well, Professor, honestly, it's been a waste of time and money investing in this field because it's no jobs available for me. Very difficult. And I hear from others, the best investment of my life. The best time I spent in my life studying international relations because opportunities are enormous. They're diverse. They're so great, and I love what I've chosen to do still. But who is right? Who is wrong? And I will present both points of view. Will be brief. I'll be dynamic. I'll show you the slides. Feel free to, well, ask questions later, email, and let's discuss further, because my experience, an experience which I use of thousands of my students and hundreds of my colleagues, still it could be biased, could be one-sided if you think. Ask your professors, ask other individuals who work in this field, ask for their opinion, compare, contrast. Discuss things, get back to opinions you like and you dislike, and this is your individual choice. Well, the question will be, and let me share the screen with you. The key question today will be, well, your professional careers. In other words, what you can do with your knowledge and your degree in international relations. Well, quickly, next slide will show some of your assets or some advantages or some foundations that you can have, you should have to be successful in this field. Literally a few seconds on this. Just your assets, grade point average. Don't think that, oh, well, let me coast and through my classes and have a great time, and then, well, real work, real life begins after I get my degree. No, it's not. GPA is very important. Maintaining high GPA is very important if you want to have a career in international relations. Great GRE scores, LSAT scores, among others. It's for professional education. It's for graduate school, for law school, and also the other tests for other professional degrees. Very important to have. So that's why you have to study for them. And so, well, that's important to attend classes, important to have your good grades. Undergraduate research. I frequently am asked, well, is it important? Well, it is. What is undergraduate research? Are there possibilities? Talk to your professors. Most of them do have their projects. They will tell them what they do. Ask them if they have opportunities for research assistantship with them. Most of the positions are not paid in our field, so you volunteer. There you can examine what they do and also try to apply your skills and knowledge. What if you don't like someone's research? Well, that's the point. If you don't know what you're doing, just how do you know what to expect in the future? Try and see. That's why when you're the first year student, second year student, it's not too early to talk to professors and discuss with them what they do and how they do and whether or not you can do something on a level on the graduate research. Your social profile matters. Things you post, things you say, things you will discuss, well, they all reflect on your career. I study political reputation, and I know that so lots of things that we think, that we free to say, and we're free to say, and I believe in the freedom of speech. However, it matters. It will become part of a social profile, especially in a digital age. So we leave our digital footprints everywhere, and that's important. That's why it's important to volunteer. That's why it's important to find internship. I don't have exact numbers, but I would say the majority of people who work in the fields of international relations, they got their positions through internship. Internships usually require, well, yeah, your application, of course, and many organizations which offer internships begin to take applications 1 year in advance. So those of you who take, for example, class in the fall semester, you say, well, I think for the spring semester, I will start searching for internships in January. No, you have to start at least 6 months in advance, even earlier. Also, a typical mistake I noticed that, Professor, I sent 2 applications for 2 internship positions. I got nothing from them, no response. So 2? How about 22? How about 32? That's what successful students do. Choose a range of companies, and I'll tell you more about them, government organizations, think tanks, and then send applications right there. In my class, I share a list of maybe 30, 40 links of key international key organizations that offer internships in the field of international relations, but mostly on East Coast where I live. So that's important point. Find internship and mostly unpaid for undergraduate students, and see whether you like it, whether this is a dream job in the future for you, or maybe just you simply get disappointed, and which is a good idea, because to get disappointed early is important for your career choices. Of course, your life experience, working in the military, or as a volunteer in Peace Corps, working for public organization, working or volunteering, working in the business. Yes, well, certainly if you have a part-time job and you work part-time, don't be shy about this. This is your life experience. Quite often it's more important than sometimes classes you take, some classes you take. Languages. Don't be disappointed if your language only English. You take a foreign language and you just developing your skills. That's fine. That's fine. If necessary, you'll be trained in a foreign language. But if you speak 2 languages, if you are proficient in 2 or 3, that's an asset. That's an asset. And also advice which some of you find a little bit complicated, but I'll explain what it is. It's very, very important. You need to develop within your 4 years of undergraduate education, or plus 2 years if you go for master's degree. You got to develop your expertise at least in 2 fields, general and specific, or as I say, global or regional. What does it mean, general and specific? Well, it means that, for example, you say, I really want to study India. I have ancestors from India. I want to study Indian politics, Indian American relations. This is what I want to study. That's what I want to study. Okay, great. That's specific. Then you got to develop your expertise in the field, for example, national security, or international political economy, or diplomacy, or global development, or poverty, well, anti-poverty policies. So something general. Why? Because quite often you have a great expertise in one field, just narrow field, specific field, but there are no openings for it. Yes, there are openings for global security, cybersecurity fields, and there, if you have this expertise, you can get positioned there. Plus, you can study India and work in the field of your choice, India. So, global region. If you say, I speak Arabic, I write and speak Arabic, I want to study political Islam. Political Islam, this is what I want to do. Political Islam is my subject, interesting subject, this fascinating subject. Yeah, it's a global field. Regional, choose a country or choose specific issues, specific issue within those countries. Egypt or Algeria, so Iraq, within that range. So that's it. Well, I say, people say, I want to study Russian. Okay, study Russia. Excellent, study Russia. But then choose something in addition. So cybersecurity, for instance, or diplomacy, or, well, political psychology. One of the lectures in the future will be dedicated to political psychology. It's an intriguing field. And so I'll tell you, because I am a political psychologist, and I'll tell you what it is. And of course, your degrees, your work experience, your degrees, master's, PhD, JD, degree in jurisprudence, MBA, I'll mention about them briefly over this short lecture right now. So remember this slide. So all these assets plus others are important. So what can you do? The major field of a major, most prestigious, I would say, and sorry if you disagree with me, but it's considered to be by most of us. Diplomatic workstations overseas, what we call foreign service. So it's a building of the US State Department. It's in Washington, D.C., Foggy Bottom, and this is U.S. Embassy in China. So you work as a diplomat. To become a foreign service officer takes lots of efforts, and skills. The acceptance rates, it depends on the year, but please don't be surprised if 1 out of 15 out of 20 applicants is selected. It's a very long competitive process. If you are second-year students, you apply beginning of the third year. So, well, expect that. So, well, it will take you 2 years, year and a half, 2 years before, well, you accept it. Hopefully, you accept it. So, nothing's wrong if you finish the school, you got your bachelor's degree, and then you apply. Absolutely fine. But then you got to do something for a year and a half, sometimes two years. So, what does it involve? Well, this is what we call 5 cones or career tracks in foreign service: management, consular affairs, economic, political affairs, and public diplomacy. So it's without going into specific details. Well, you'll be trained and educated in become expert working in those fields. Degrees required: bachelor's, master's degree, legal degree, of JD, others. See, I don't mention here PhD. It's a misperception of some of my students saying, "Professor, well, we need to get a PhD to work there." No, you don't have to have a PhD. You'll be often overqualified. The PhD has specific requirements and specific choices. I'll tell you in 3-4 minutes about what PhD degree, where it brings you. Here we go. Well, please understand that it sounds great, sounds interesting. It's a prestigious work. You become foreign service officer, you become U.S. diplomat. You must be U.S. citizen to apply and become foreign service officer, of course. But no, understand that 20, 30, 40 years of your life will be spent overseas. You'll be vacationing back in the United States. So also understand that's misperception. Well, I study Pakistani politics, some would say, and I want to be. I speak several languages, and so I want to be diplomat. I want to be sent to Pakistan. Well, it's a naive thinking. No, as a diplomat, you'll serve in the United States, and you'll be sent, say, just for sake of example, Nicaragua, spend some time there. They'll be sent to France, then to Japan, and then will be sent to Pakistan. So don't expect that. So you choose a field and you'll be working in this field. That will be different possibilities. Well, those of you who dream about having a family and children, well, your children will grow up overseas. So you'll be a nomad in so many ways. That if this is for you, that's definitely foreign services for you. But how about if you want to stay mostly in one place? Well, it's a possibility. It's a civil service. Diplomatic workstation in the United States, civil service. Civil service has many possibilities or careers. Here's a list of those careers. You'll be spending most of the time in the United States, depending on what you do. I have my colleagues who, to work in civil service, and they travel. They travel a lot. Negotiations, deals, another type of negotiations, conferences and signing of documents, separate meetings. Well, they're civil servants, but they travel a lot. As foreign service, civil service is a very competitive organization to get in. You've got to know and study exams. You can check on the website of State Departments and see what exams require. I hear my colleagues from other schools in the United States that students organize themselves in study groups and study for foreign service exams and civil service exams. They study together. You need to read not only about politics, it's about literature, global literature. It's your knowledge of art, science, history, anthropology, psychology, you name it, humanities also. They will assess your global knowledge, and your skills, and your particular commitment to service in the United States, and also your honesty, your integrity. Well, lots of things will be tested right now. So I'll repeat again, if you're second-year student, third-year student, it's not too late to start right now studying for foreign service exam. Okay, but what if it's not for you? Next cluster of possibilities, work for US government. We talk about those who, US citizens, of course, defense, homeland security, intelligence, justice, plenty of possibilities right there. How can you get those jobs? Well, they advertise positions, but the most common way and the most efficient way, in my opinion, is through internships. Every year, the departments of, say, defense, homeland security, state departments, and others, they announce internships. Very competitive, but my students get there every year. It's very competitive. Many don't get the opportunity because they're, well, the better qualified applicants. But this is everything in our life. You apply, see the possibilities right there. So, and through the internship, some more possibilities are open to get part-time, full-time positions working for US governments. So that is another possibility. Well, next cluster is international and non-government organizations. We will study in this class international and NGOs, and international and non-government organizations and NGOs, and they range from those to do a lot of work in different fields to very specific oriented, huge and small ones. Most of them in our country are, I wouldn't be wrong if I say, yeah, it's the West Coast and East Coast in particular, Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle. However, in Chicago, in Houston, in Denver, and check things available near your school in the big cities, especially. You find some non-government organizations right there, again. Depends on what you want to do or want to investigate. I've heard a lot. It's again, use my experience from students who say, "Well, professor, I really thought I would study international security and global issues related to nuclear weapons. However, I checked a couple of NGOs. They do something global health. I don't know if you like it. Try it. If you don't know, how can you learn about this field? Try it and see. An internship is not a commitment to do this type of work for 40 years ahead of you. No. Your internship is an opportunity for you to learn from the organization and also offer your skills. And don't forget in your applications, it's a little secret, but it's no longer a secret, of course. But when you apply and they ask you, why do you want to just work in our NGO? What do you want to intern in? Don't say, because I want to learn what you do and is it good for my resume? No. Say what you offer to them. So they will have 10 candidates. And why are you that specific candidate who they would like to see? So talk about your skills, your contribution, your interest, and your personality features that will help this NGO or any other organization succeed in some fields. Again, tell them about what you bring to them, not you want to take from them. Although it's a very important point, you must learn something from them. Think tanks. It's less common. It talk about hundreds and hundreds of NGOs in our country and so many international organizations available for us, like United Nations, for example. Check, by the way, also the European Union, NATO, they do have internships, and they're competitive, but they're open for anyone who wants to participate in that competition. Think tanks are usually, they are private organizations. They're non-profits in most cases. They simply work on particular policy issues. I'll give you just an example of non-partisan, Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, They usually, what they do, they invite international scholars, former ministers and generals and public officials, and they spend a certain period in the United States, right there in Washington, D.C. on the 14th Street. And, uh, and then they invite interns. So you, again, if you're qualified, you go there and spend a semester, a year being an intern. You are assigned to a particular scholar or former public official, and you work with this individual. Usually, just they will ask you to have a proficiency in a foreign language. Often not. Quite often, individuals who come to the United States, they are proficient in English, and you'll be working for them as assistants and helper and working on their project. So this is sort of non-partisan organization. But many think tanks are partisan. I'll give you just two examples random. For example, Center for American Progress, it's, well, it's progressive, it's to the left. The Heritage Foundation is to the right. And historically, yes, if you vote Democratic, yes, you choose something for yourself which will fit and which will probably be more interesting for you to work work for, and you can apply your skills. I have seen my students who, not because they really want to trick somebody, no, they simply want to learn more about the other point of view. A person who is progressive would say, look, I don't mind to work for a conservative think tank. I want to just simply, honestly learn their point of view, and vice versa. Not often, but these things, well, happen. And I think it's the right thing to do, just to check and diversify your knowledge. But mostly, they even ask in those think tanks your political points of view, because they want people who really want to promote their cause. And there's nothing to hide here. It's that they often advertise our think tank. This is what we do. This is what we promote. This is what we try to do. We try to achieve. And so they advertise internships, as I said, usually 6 months or a year in advance. And finally, talking about PhD and advanced degrees, you can choose university research, consulting, and teaching. Working for schools, working for graduate schools, working for private companies, working for governments, just doing some theoretical work, doing some research. And most of us are members of the International Studies Association. So we study international politics right there. And well, my work, for example, involves research, lectures, discussion with my students, interviews, writing, reviewing, presenting things, lots of media interviews, and writing, expressing my opinion. My opinion can be accepted by some and, well, maybe criticized by others. That's the nature of our work. It's a difficult work. Some find it boring, some find it tedious at times, but many type of work require your specific skills, and again, not for everybody, but this is, again, some of you may choose this type of work. Okay, that's lots of possibilities, maybe even exciting possibilities, but well, can one make a living? Can one make a living in this field? It's a very important question. Most of my colleagues avoid talking about this question, saying, well, it's a private issue, we won't discuss salaries. Let's discuss salaries. What could be your salary if you choose a career in international relations? Well, honestly, let's talk about this. If you commit 4 years of your life and your time and money and tuition and loans, many of you take loans, well, let's talk about salary. It's a very important issue, right? Very important issue. I know people say, well, we don't work for money. Well, but we need to pay our bills. Let's talk about this. Well, honestly, based on my studies and some data in public domain available, I talk to my friends and colleagues, and so often, that's for the sake of my work, they share with me how much money they make, and just we're honest. And this is quite, let's say, quite well researched. This slide. First of all, some good news, some bad news. Well, with bachelor's degree, well, your job could be, well, not, yes, compensated, but understand it's not really greatest compensation. up with 35,000, maybe even less sometimes, with bachelor's degrees. You'll be an assistant to somebody, you'll be a assistant to somebody. No disrespect to assistantship. I began my career of being assistant to assistants and doing a difficult job for minimum salary. Yes, then with passage of time, 3 or 5 years, you get your seniority and you're promoted and maybe get more than $35,000, $40,000. But this is what it is. Put plus there. I mean, yes, you can make more money. Depends on what you do and what kind of job you do. But again, to say that the bachelor's degree is only your educational degree, it's introductory degree. In most situations, I would recommend you to get your master's degree, law degree, or MBA, Master of Business Administration, so advanced professional degree. Still, with a master's degree, you find positions which have a starting salary of 30, 35,000, 40,000. Honestly, I'm honest with you. However, with the passage of time and with advancement of your skills, your salary will go up. Depends on what you do. Depends how you do things. It depends where you travel. Depends how valuable your work is. There are very dangerous positions. You will be assigned to not very safe places and sometimes spend months in those places. Not really just necessarily just being a member of armed forces. No, you as a consultant, you are observer, you are an expert. You need to gather information in the field, and yet definitely those more dangerous jobs will be compensated on a different scale. Well, this level of seniority in the government, there's a pay scale, and in non-government organizations, so the seniority, and you can make more money than that. And then with advanced or professional degree, plus, and I put it in the sort of informal way, 6-day per week work schedule. Most of my colleagues works 6-7 days a week. We barely have days off. Sometimes we do, but mostly work and consult and write and grade. Your salary could be quite fine, say. Those of you who say, "Oh, professor, I can make more money if I choose career in computer science and write code." And of course, in business, you can make way more money right than that. You can become professional athlete, right? Lots of professions that you can make more money. Within which you can make more money. Here, I'll give you my honest opinions. 165, 170 is not just like you finish school, you finish a master's degree, age 25, 26, you make this amount of money. No, it takes 10, 15, 20 years of career development. But this is something which you got to understand. That you begin with a lower level and then move up, and then choose your cone, choose your field, choose your direction. And that's why the way you will be compensated. Understand that many of you invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in your undergraduate degree and your master's degree. Hundreds of thousands. Many of you will be in debt after finishing school. Is it worth it to work $45,000, $50,000 a year, having a debt and having bills to pay? Let's think about this. This is not just nice opportunity to make lots of money right after college. So it's a quite a long and difficult road. However, you will be compensated decently after a few years of dedication, hard work, and success. Well, having said that, I want to encourage everybody and give you an honest opinion about. I give you this honest opinion about career choices, and if your vision is now more clear right now, if you are still excited about this field, let's study together. During the semester, I will present you a variety of subjects about this field, and you choose where your interests are, and you choose fields in which you can apply your knowledge and skills, And so I'll make decision at the end of this course, or it'll take some time to make decision a little bit later. So we'll see you. We'll see you in other classes. Once again, thank you to the dudes for helping with this lecture, for recording it and editing. And I'm Eric Shiraev. I will see you in my other classes. And I'll stop sharing. I'll see you in my other classes. And we will start studying different views of international relations. We'll begin with realism, then continue with liberalism, then examine constructivism and many other isms, including conflict theories in political psychology. So all those points of view of international relations, a variety of diverse views, very interesting, very exciting. Our journey just begins. See you soon.